Thanks for staying with us. Let's take you to this now. Former President KgalemaMotlanthe is expected to address the Institute for African Alternatives Colloquium tonight, and this is aimed at producing and promoting constructive analysis of local socioeconomic and political issues. And let's get more details now from our SABC News reporter, Bulelani Phillip, who is joining us live now. Bulelani, what can we expect tonight?
Well, good evening to you, Bongiwe, and to the viewers at home. We are coming to you live from the District 6 Homecoming Center here in the Cape Town CBD. Of course, as you've said in your intro, this is where a colloquium on the effects of state capture, as well as how various institutions have actually been lagging behind in terms of implementing the recommendations of the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. Of course, one of the key main speakers here today is going to be the Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, as well as former President KgalemaMotlanthe, who is also the board chairperson of the Institute for African Alternatives. For more now, I'm going to bring into this conversation the acting director of the Institute for African Alternatives, Professor Arisitas. Thank you so much for your time. Firstly, for the benefit of our viewers, who is the Institute for African Alternatives?
Well, it is an institute that combines both research, publishes a new agenda policy journal. It trains younger people in terms of democracy. It looks at the development of the political economy of the continent, looks at the implications of livelihoods. So we are a multifaceted institute that was started once upon a time by Ben Turok, the late Ben Turok. And we are committed to raising burning debates in the country. And there is a burning debate around the Constitution, deepening democracy, the role of Parliament, and the public needs to debate it, and needs to debate it with the stars of the show. And, so basically we can see where the fault lines are and see how we can improve the situation at the moment. So
now the issue, sorry to cut you off there, the issue here really, you're saying that you're quite determined to ensure that the country proactively deliberates on how various institutions have actually responded to recommendations of the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. Now, do you believe that a parliament, as the legislative oversight institution, has actually been effective in terms of implementing those recommendations?
Well, this is the debate tonight. Is it? The opinions are divided. I see people, Parliament is Parliament, it's doing its job, the committees are working. What are you bothering us with? On the other hand, a lot of people are saying it's not working, it doesn't exercise its oversight over the state, and there are a lot of things that are going wrong. The press is making a meal out of it. We are shouting, we are arguing with each other, and it's interesting to get the debate going properly, to listen to what Justice Zondo has to say, to challenge him, to ask questions, to see what can be done now. And because also IFA deals with a lot of young people and young voices, it's very important for them to learn how democracy itself can be accountable.
But as the Institute, do you think that the executive as well as Parliament have actually been effective in implementing those recommendations of the Zondo Commission?
I think there's a lag. I think there have been delays. Those have to be explained. We have to understand why there are delays. There was a promise that they would be addressed. A lot of them were still waiting. So, the public is very restless about this issue. And of course, it's compounded. There's going to be elections next year, and everybody's going to be shouting at each other. So let's look at it realistically, analytically, and pass the judgment in the near future of what's going on.
Lastly, you're also advocating for a parliamentary and election reform process. Where do you think our current systems are lacking, and what would you like to see going forward in both the parliamentary processes as well as the election reforms?
Well, you're asking me personally.
Yes, as the Institute.
As the Institute. Well, as the Institute, there's three things that are involved there. One is a bit worried in terms of our researchers, we're a bit worried about what it means to have people running independently and singularly for parliamentary seats. Is it an effective reform? Or let's say, assuming that I run there and I've got lots of fans and everybody loves me and I get 55% of the national vote, I get one seat. So what does it mean? And also, it tries to address the issue, the second point, tries to address the issue that there might be a kind of a disconnect between parliamentarians and the communities they are supposed to be serving, and that is the problem of the lists and the list system. So what do we do about that distance? Is it just by allowing individuals? Is that the answer? We don't know. We don't know yet. Just having to read through 200 individual manifestos next year, is going to be quite an issue. And the third issue that our researchers are grappling with is that what is the relationship, and we spoke about it now, between the parliamentarians now and the committees and state policy, but also implementation of state policy. Because if you look at a lot of the policies, they are fantastic, incomparable in terms of other countries, but they're not getting implemented. Why? What is the problem? Let's have it out. People don't want to overthrow Parliament. They want to make it more effective for people's everyday lives.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Arisitas. He's the acting director of the Institute for African Alternatives. Of course, the address by former President KgalemaMotlanthe will be televised live here on SABC just after 7 o'clock, as well as the Chief Justice, Justice Raymond Zondo, straight after that. For now, Bongiwe will cross back to you in studio.
And it'll be interesting, Bulelani, to see exactly, just what comes out of that particular debate, given the fact that he said so much about Parliament in his report, but at the same time, just recently talking about the Scorpion, saying that disbandment was the worst decision ever. And the man who approved the pieces of legislation to do this will be in the room with him tonight. So that should be quite interesting to see exactly what happens there. But we'll continue to monitor the story. And as Bulelani says, we'll bring you some of it live here on the show. That's SABC News reporter Bulelani Phillip.